Welcome everybody. Today on the bench we got a pretty rare specimen, at least I consider it to be. We got a PC Engine LT. Let me get a better, there we go, yeah. So this is not going to be just a straightforward recap on like most things. There's actually quite a bit you have to remove on these to really be able to to recap them. So I need to actually figure out everything I need to remove. I know I need to remove this metal can. I need to remove this edge connector. I'm replacing the power jacks on each end. And then I'm going to be, I know, replacing this, what I believe is a 5-volt regulator. Yeah, 7805. So I'm going to go ahead and start by removing the 5-volt regulator. There we go. So that just comes out. Give it a wiggle, 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 yeah. So that's out. We need to remove all this, through hole parts. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get started on those. Now, I am not the first one to be here. This was recapped previously, I would say very poorly. You can see here, those are ceramics, those should not be there. There are through hole being used for surface mount. Well, you can do that. It's really tacky and really not a great idea. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get that cap out really tight. Okay, let's get this one out. So, haven't planned how I'm going to tackle the edge cart yet. It's got a really nice thick it looks like it's got a really thick ground plate. So that could be interesting. We'll see how that pans out. There we go. So just removing all these various... Oh, that one didn't come clean all the way. I might need to clean my gun real quick. There we go. I think that's good now. No need to force it with the right tools. Yeah, it looks like this has never been clean. There's actually quite a few caps that never got actually changed. They probably gave up mid. So yeah, you can see those. Those are all original. All right. So so for the let me wake my iron up here. So for this giant metal can, there's a few ways we could go about it. I think I'm just going to try sticking my nail under each corner and trying to raise it. And yeah, that actually works pretty well. Perfect, actually. And that allows me to then just clean out the joints. There's more than what you could use a solder braid, but honestly, I don't like to waste my braid on something I can just easily lever it out. And I mean, I'm putting zero force on that. It's just coming right out, so you don't have to worry too much. But I would not, if you're not confident in your abilities, this is definitely not the project for you. There we go, though. Easy. Now we'll just use the solder gun to suck out all the holes. There we go. Don't let solder fall out the hole under your hand. That hurts. Let's see. There we go. And let's see, what other ones did I need to clean out? Okay, I think that's all of them. I might have missed one. When I put it back in, I'll find out. Not a big deal. All right, so now we need to figure out the edge connect. We might as well go ahead and pull out these the power connectors. Now these are going to be a little fun themselves. Yeah. So the issue is these are not just simple pins. They're kind of squared off. So what I like to do is apply some solder and just kind of run my iron between all the pins. And if you can, form in a one big blob and then kind of rock it out. Assuming it wants to play ball. Just make sure there's nothing retaining it, and there's not. Just try and get your hand. You might need like a pair of pliers, which I think I do. I'm gonna use a pair of needle nose here just to gently grab that. And just kind of. There we go. Okay, that's out. Now just reflood all the holes. And perfect. We'll clean out the holes. Beautiful. Yep. Alright, we'll do the other side real quick, just to get it out of the way. And it's much of the same. Flood the plane with solder, and you want to pull straight out, don't lever. That should go without saying. You're not trying to bend it out. You want it to come out pretty pretty seamlessly. So you want to do it over an edge. You might have to tilt slightly, to get it out, but you shouldn't be going like this. It should be like a gentle side to side motion. And there we go. That one's out too. And again, if you have to use braid, feel free to use braid. I find that when you're dealing with like a thick ground plane, braid it's too much of a fight. I don't want to deal with it. Alright, so we've gotten out the regulator, 2 jacks, this main shield. Now we need to focus on this. Now I'm going to try just going over with my desoldering gun, see how that does. Looks like I'm going to have to reflow this. Yeah, the solder's way too. Now, I'm going to go ahead and apply flux, and then I could go ahead and just flood that with flux. And then, I'll use some fresh solder. There we go. Probably more than I need, but it's fine. There we go. When you're dealing with trying to make an area, easily desolderable, try to get as much solder on the pin as you can. Now, I've seen people do this with wick, and I would not want to have to do it with wick. That would be a nightmare. And unfortunately, to really, be able to remove the caps properly, One side is done. Looks beautiful. Now we'll rotate and repeat. We're basically flooding our iron with solder and drag soldering. Letting the pins soak up what they can, and then moving on. And then you can come back and forth, just to kind of, because what you want to do is honestly get rid of as much of the, flood out as much of the original solder as you realistically can. Now there's a really cool technique that I don't have a big enough iron to demonstrate, but you can actually use you could easily remove this with a big piece of copper wire. Basically just put it down the middle of the pins and then fill it with solder. And once you've done that, you go in and you heat it as one mass, and that slot would actually come out as one mass. It's really a cool technique. Alright, so if we look, you can see all those brand new joints. Those are going to allow us to easily, with our iron gun, so you can see some of those holes have cleared. One didn't, probably a ground plane, so I'm probably going to go over that again. To redo that one. That's definitely a ground plane. I can tell by how much it's resisting. I might have to redo that one a little bit. But overall these are coming clean and no risk of damaging the pads because they're not, heating it too long. Okay, gotta probably redo that one. Maybe not. Okay, now let's go back over a few of these. Okay, that looks good. There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to just kind of wiggle side to side and then a little front to back. Very minimal. You're just trying to see. And now look on the bottom. Okay, I can see a few. This is why you don't just force things. Because if you just force it, you're going to rip out things. And that obviously is not what you want to do. I have a lot more experience in through hole. And especially removing okay. let's see how that is. It should just pretty much slide right out. Maybe not yet. If I have, okay, I have the joint right there I need to get. There we go. Now, can I get that on camera? Let me try and get everything else. There you go. You see how they're wiggling? So what you want to do is look for ones that aren't wiggling. In this case, I'm pretty sure it looks like they're all wiggling. So we're going to go ahead and kind of wiggle a bit harder. And I mean that in a slight. So what you can do is you come, I like to push from the bottom. That allows me to see kind of which pins might be loose but need a little help. There we go. And it's out. And this board needed some love. Well, some of that's going to be flux, although no, not that. So all that nastiness you see, that is not flux, it's actually dried. So we're going to go ahead and clean the board. Probably might just ultrasonic this actually. Because the person that is, you know, well, actually I ultrasonic everything, but okay. Yeah, whoever did this should not have been doing. I don't know if the owner did this originally, or. But anyway. So I'm going to actually trim the legs on this because they're kind of. The way whoever cut them was pretty blunt. There we go. Alright. Let's start getting these nasty through holes off. To be clear, I have used a through hole in place of SMD. Now I see why they did that. They'd rip the pad. Okay. That's easy enough to fix. Alright, so we have, it's a little tight over here. Let's get rid of this through hole, see how much space that gives us. Trash caps. I don't know what brand they are, but they're not name brand. Which means they don't. Let's see. Clean out the barrel here. There we go. Get this guy. Okay. Now, yeah, their attempt to use a, yeah, see, this is why, so you can see, they attempted to use a through hole, but the leg's not even soldered. It's because this is a very, very tight, I'm actually, in an effort to not burn so there is a little white connector here, right there. I'm going to remove that. So if something's tight, get rid of as many things as you can. That's generally speaking going to be what protects you. I'm going to take a quick photo just to note down the orientation, because I don't know how well this board is going to be. Now, I'm going to do that for a few other things that I think I'm going to end up taking off. I might end up doing... Okay. I may end up taking this off because there's some caps here. It's kind of tight. That'll give me a little bit more room to breathe. In fact, I might just go ahead and do that right now. And again, we'll use our flux and flood trick. Now, you gotta be... So, this is where you get yourself in trouble if you're not good with your tools. So, this is, plastic. So, if you're not careful, what can happen is you can actually burn the plastic that the connector is made out of. Okay. Now, if you're using a desoldering gun, you got to make sure you clean off the flux, because that flux will jam your gun up. In fact, if you're having a lot of issues with your desoldering gun jamming, it's probably because you're soldering up flux, or soaking up flux. And that quickly will jam up the barrel, it'll jam up the filter. So there we go, I just quickly washed that off. Now we're going to go in. So the holes are generally clean, but they're a little tight, so I find that sometimes while flux will work, I find that your solder doesn't actually suck up as well as you would hope. So I have two different solders, both Kester, but one just seems to flow better. came out, but that's fine. We'll just stick it back in. Even though it was loose, it wasn't loose enough. Alright. There we go. Now goes to show you if something does happen that you don't expect, it's recoverable most of the time. There we go. Just make sure you know the orientation the pin goes in. In this case, it's obvious because they alternate every other pin. And there we go. And that gives us unlimited access to everything. So, and also we could clean it. Let's go ahead and we were going to take out this connector here. Now, my only concern about this connector is going to be that plastic. Because a lot of times that plastic likes to melt really quickly. So it might be... yeah. See, it doesn't take very much for the pin to come out. It's alright, we can put it back in. And we'll have to use some pliers to get it out because I can't. My tweezers aren't fine enough. Come on. Trying to get. There we go. Just need to straighten the pin a bit, and it's back in. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely a more invasive operation, so to speak. But again, it gives you so much control. I can now start confidently removing pieces and knowing that I'm not going to burn anything. All right, let's start removing these ugly ass. Now, I'm actually going to use my hot tweezers for this because I could just pluck them off like it's candy. there's an audio jack right there. That's going to be in the way. How hard are you to get out? Okay. Seems like we should just be able to, yep, wiggle, 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 yeah. Now, there we go. There we go. Now, again, because these caps up front, really close to that jack, I'm trying not to risk, I'm actually remove this power jack, power, or whatever, this power connector. Let's see, is that strictly necessary? Depends on what size caps I need to use there. I'll have to come back to that, because I may not need to. It's going to really depend on what values go there. Alright, let's start cleanup of what we've done. So, okay, remove this through hole. It was loose. Yeah, it's loose. It's being annoying. There we go. Good riddance. Alright, now, you're going to laugh. But just because it's designed for through hole doesn't mean I can't use it on surface mount. Like I said, I don't know who did this, and I don't want to be too critical, because if it's the owner, I don't want to make him seem like I'm insulting him. I could definitely see how, if you've never done something this level, you might get overwhelmed really fast. You know. Now, I'm trying to figure out what this guy is. I'm guessing it's an RF modulator. Ooh, that is going to sink some heat. That might be fun to remove. Actually, do I need to? With a very narrow tip, I could get in there. I wouldn't want to try. So. Definitely an RF, probably likely an RF modulator. Oh, you gotta love when you clean it out and somehow I still get a little bit stuck to the side. Now that would do it. The gun is full. That'd do it. That checks out. Yep. Completely full. No wonder it ain't doing very well. I have an empty. Okay, that should help a lot with suction. Okay. Yep. Now, we got two ways to try and remove this RF modulator. I can either Alright, I need to go back over some of these. Okay. Don't know why, but this probably because all the metal in the can. It's being annoying to remove. This is why you don't rush. You don't try to force it because you're gonna break something. Okay, let's try that. Those look clean. There we go. Okay. All right, now we have a lot of access to a lot of things. Set that aside. Let's see, we got another through hole where a surface mount should be. Okay, and we got enough room around it. We don't have to worry about that. Nice tiny cap, whatever that was. Oop, gonna have to remove this. Really close to a cap. Hopefully that's as easy. Yep, that's as easy as the last one. So that's all she wrote. Simple, 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 simple. Now I could get to that cap with no concerns. I'm taking off those other caps. See how easy that is, you know, with an overpriced tool. Okay, okay. Looking good. That is all the old caps. Half the board is with it, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Now, alright, we got a through hole right here I need to remove. That might be easier. That's going to be fun, actually, because it's kind of tight in the space. I actually don't know. My tip on my soldering gun is actually too big. Like, legitimately too big to extract this cap. Fun. Now, I gotta be careful. Make sure that it's that one I'm removing, right? Yeah. I do not. Normally I would just flood it out and then pull it as one piece. I missed a cap, actually. But it's actually quite crowded. There we go. I was able to rock it out. I could clean it from the top. But yeah, that was quite tight on the bottom. There's a lot of surface melt. There we go. Okay. We're going to take some fresh braid and go back over all those pads. Because now we're just trying to make sure there's nothing on them. Yeah, this board majorly at least needs some alcohol, if nothing else. Alright, now one more cap to remove that I missed. What time is it? Okay. Alright. Now I got them all. Now I can go over the board, clean everything up. Actually, I'm going to turn that off. Yep. Alright. Cleaning time. Because it needs it. Alright. You can see how nasty the board was. Hey, Jeremy. I'm just cleaning up this board. It's pretty, this was a lot of work to do. I had to remove so many things. But it's my first time doing one of these, and I'd rather have erred on the side of caution, knowing that, that I'm less likely to burn something or Yeah, I'm gonna want to ultrasonic this. There's definitely stuff hidden that I can't get with just a toothbrush. So, problem is, I'll have to do that tonight. Because, alright, that means I'm going to have to remove a few more things. Because I don't want to risk damaging them in the ultrasonic. But thankfully, they're just things like crystals. So I don't have to worry about, and where's let me make sure I have a photo of where these are. Okay. Two of three came out. There we go. Give it a little wiggle, 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 yeah. And there we go. Now put that back. And the last thing is this crystal oscillator, which of course was taped. Now that is weird. Looks like there's actually another. Is that a capacitor or an oscillator? A clock? I'm not entirely sure. Easier just to remove it. All right, sorry, I was dealing with something from work. All right. There we go. Yeah, it's a clock. It's got an X next to it, so it's a crystal. This board has a lot of oscillators or crystals or... There we go. Okay, now I'm comfortable. Now I want to start to look at what caps go where. That should... I might need a map because I don't actually know that off the top of my head. But I want to see... Okay, there's a lot of 3.3s apparently. Okay. That's just for a PC engine. I want the LT. Thought that looked a little off. Ah. That explains why that way didn't match up. Did this have ceramics in it? Is that what those are? Yes. Okay. So there should be at least 2 ceramics. That's fine. Yeah, somebody had to have made a map though. Fortunately, I couldn't even rely on the original board because it had already been tampered with. There we go. Got one. Perfect. Okay, so bottom are 33. Okay. Then, all right. Where do 3.3s go? There's 5 of those. All right. I'm gonna have to fix 3. Look and see, how badly did they mess that up? Okay, that's easy. Okay, and then that I need to run a wire. Or a cap leg or something similar. That's all ground, so that I just need, that I can easily that I could easily fix up. All right. Yeah, these are all later me problems. I wonder where the... All right. Overall, board looks pretty good. I don't see any real points of concern. Most, yeah, you can see like that's all electrolyte. That will all come off when I ultrasonic it. Yeah, definitely cleaning this. Ah, I got one more crystal. Actually, it's two. Oh man. Okay. Boy, they put a lot. I guess there's so many. All these chips must run at slightly. Are they surface mount or through hole? Well, at least they're through hole. Now, it might seem like, oh, you're removing a lot of. Like, I actually have to remove these. They can get damaged in my cleaner, and then I'm stuck in a much worse situation because then I gotta replace them. Or worse than that is I actually don't know they're damaged because I don't have a way to test this. The owner did not send me all the pieces. So I have to kind of be hyper vigilant as I work on this. Make sure, like, no weird, no solder. Oh, really? Stupid bag. Oh, that is pretty heat resistant. Really? I actually need to. Yeah, I only got a few minutes left before I have to leave. Let's see. Okay, got that one out. Had to use my fingers because it's really tight on this board, like unbelievably tight. Yeah, I need to get a narrower nozzle. Alright, I got one out, so I can just heat the other two joints probably. And of course, I have plenty of room on the top to get it out. I'd probably be better off with a wider tip. Okay, got that out finally. Was it like a thick ass ground plane? Not really. It just didn't want to come out. Alright, throw that in there. Alright, I'm going to clean these holes out, and I got two of these. Well, the good thing is really the hardest parts are done. Really. Oh boy. Jeez, no wonder this took so much effort to get out. There we go. I gotta go. Alright. I might be back later. I might just finish this on my own. But, well, anyone who did watch, thanks for watching.